How would you feel if you were sitting down, waiting for some high-stakes heads-up Pot Limit Omaha action, and an opponent sat down and proceeded to lose $1.3 million and a total of 65 $20,000 buy-ins to you over the course of the session? Now, I almost can't believe this happened in the year 2019. This was kind of one of those stories that you might hear back in 2008. But even then, 65 buy-ins, this might be one of the most ridiculous things I've maybe ever heard in online poker. For a guy to lose that amount of buy-ins, you have to be playing the worst poker in the history of the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. But that is exactly what happened to very long time high stakes heads up player from Finland named Lars Luzak, aka Sami Kelopuro. I think I say his name correctly. Now, Lars has been a very long time high stakes player. Like I said, he was playing high stakes on Full Tilt back in 2008, plays Pot Limit Omaha, he plays No Limit Hold'em, and he also has a lot of success at tournaments as well too. The man can truly play it all. So this happened recently over on Party Poker. If you guys haven't been keeping up the online poker action, Party Poker has had a renaissance over these past couple years, revamping their cash game and the tournament system, going on with the website, and is now becoming a formidable opponent to PokerStars. So we're gonna get more into how exactly Lars did this, what he had to say about it on his blog. I need somebody from Finland to translate what the hell this comment means over on Lars's blog that somebody wrote pertaining to me. I do want to let everybody know that I'm back to making content on my channel after a couple months off. We've been hard on the podcast grind because I have a bet with my buddy Doug Polk where I have to make a certain amount of videos by October 14th or I have to jump out of a plane. We had Doug Polk, Bill Perkins, Party Poker partner Rob Yong, Nick Schulman, Fedor Holes, and yesterday a legendary podcast with Scott Seaver. So far since we've been back, upcoming shows, we have Gus Hansen next Monday, Jason Somerville next Wednesday, and Jean Robert Ballan himself the Monday after that. In addition, I'm working on an epic Phil Ivey investigation video into the Baccarat case where he has faced lawsuits to the total of 22 million United States dollars. It's an incredible case. Can't wait for people to see that video. It's coming up tomorrow. Just getting into Lars Luzak. Like I said, he's from Finland. He's about 32 years old. And he first started making a major impact on the cash game scene back in 2007 when he started playing the very high stakes games that went on Full Tilt Poker. Now, not much is known about Lars outside of online poker circles. I actually don't know too much about him. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I've really only seen his name a lot online. I think I played with him a bit at various points in time. But for the most part, he's kind of unknown to me. I do know that in May 2011, he did win the Scoop main event, the $10,000 No Limit Hold'em. So Lars plays as a screen name Chimney Barrel, which I'd be kind of interested to know exactly what that screen name means and why he decided to create that one. But he plays as Chimney Barrel over on Party Poker. And now it's very atypical for your opponent to sit down and lose a massive amount of buy-ins to you, playing a 100% VPIP of all their hands in 2019, but this is exactly what happened to Lars. On his blog, he wrote down that the match was playing super crazy, tons of 3-betting, tons of 4-betting. At one point in time, he started off the match down about 80,000, but luckily for him, he started to rally, and once he started to rally, he didn't look back. He posted this hand history of a $227,000 pot. Definitely unlucky for his opponent here. He's got the aces here with the single suited aces against ace, king, king, queen. And if you're a player who's playing 100% of your hands and 3 and 4 betting anything, when you get ace, king, king, queen, and you're $110,000 deep, which is very, very deep, 550 big blinds, you don't want to be getting all in brief out with ace, king, king, queen for 550 big blinds. But when you're a complete fucking psychopath, you got to go with that type of hand. Unfortunately, this was a $227,000 pot that went Lars's way, and he would win about $1 million more. It means, listen, this is ridiculous, man. This is one of the craziest things that I've seen. Lars said that he did do some investigation to who his mystery opponent was because he never actually saw the screen name before, but he might have an idea who it is, but he said he didn't want to keep it. He said he wanted to keep it to himself, which is very understandable, especially at high stakes these days. I really enjoy reading this blog post that Lars wrote. He talked about even when he has these big winning days, he immediately gets back out there. He continues to study, continues to work at his game, which is not typical for most poker players. When they're on an upswing and that, they don't really study. They study when they're on a downswing, and when they're on an upswing, they just keep it on moving. They don't really focus on their game too much. They just try to ride the upswing out for as long as they can. Now, I had Party Poker partner Rob Yong on my podcast, and I asked him about what took place and he said that this guy had won $1.3 million at the casino, and then he took that money to the 100-200 heads up Pot Limit Omaha table, where he proceeded to lose everything over the span of about 8 hours. So that's right, this guy won $1.3 million at the casino. We don't know exactly what was going on to be able to win this money. We don't know why he decided to go lose all the money to Lars. If you have to look into it, you got to say maybe there's some out-of-line activity taking place there, because why the hell would this guy go launch off all the money at 100-200, playing all of his hands, playing terrible poker? It just doesn't really make much sense unless there's maybe some shenanigans happening in terms of how that money was acquired. Lars did say that security was looking into the incident for a couple different weeks. Obviously, in that situation, if you win that amount of money, you know the security is going to say, hey, what's going on here, buddy? This random account comes to you, loses 65 buy-ins. This isn't 20 buy-ins, this isn't 10 buy-ins. 65 buy-ins, $1.3 million this guy loses to you. Do you know this guy? Are you guys working together? Is there some sort of shenanigans happening here? Very understandable for a security site to be able to ask that. Lars did say it was a couple weeks, and I imagine a very stressed out couple of weeks there if you're sitting there wondering if you're going to get a $1.3 million cash out from the poker site. But luckily, he posted from an email from Party Poker Security Operations, and they said, we investigated it. The funds are going to be released back in your account shortly. Enjoy yourself there, buddy. Chuck Bass Poker on Twitter is a longtime member of the community. Said, in case you're wondering who the true GOAT is, Lars Luzak just had a $1.3 million session 11 years after his previous 7-figure day. Beat some guy for 65 buy-ins. Also casually won 5 different 5K plus buy-ins in one Sunday. That's pretty fucking incredible. And over on Lars's blog, he actually talked about that. So on one Sunday, he actually won 5 different events for over $400,000. This guy's a madman, man. This guy's a fucking beast. Jeez. He also finished second in 3 other events as well during that time period too. So in addition to that, Lars also on September 8th had 2 other big scores to the tune of $700,000 while playing over on Natural 8. Said that Lars is up some $2.5 million for 2019. Not a bad way to make a living. Before I go any further, I have to ask people out there, can somebody please translate? So a comment on Lars's blog says, boiling that Ingram pot with Rob Yong as guest. It turned out that the anger that lost you over a ton, Megan had won that money at Party Casino. By the way, is Joey ever trying to make a mother of a stranger? So what I'm going to imagine this might say in English is that Joey had Rob Yong on the podcast. It turned out that the guy that you lost all the money to won it at the casino. By the way, is Joey going to have... I have no idea what that last... Am I going to have Lars Luzak on the podcast? Is he trying to say I have sex with my mother? I really have no idea what this fucking guy's saying. Can somebody please translate this for me? I'll put the link in the description below to Lars Luzak's blog. Lars said this was probably the biggest amount of money he's ever won or lost, and it was a fun thing to play otherwise. The return on capital lost about a large sum is easily the order. I have no idea what that means. I'm assuming this is something to do with taxes and maybe some money has to pay for cash outs. Listen, the guy won $1.3 million. You know, you deal with what comes from that. And sessions like this in 2019 are very, very rare. As Lars said, it's been over, 11 years since he had a session like this. I haven't heard about a session like this in a long time. Sometimes you see some regulars maybe battle at 200, 400, and you'll see these kind of swings, but very rarely does it ever get up in the $1 million range, and 65 buy-ins is preposterous. The most I've lost in a session is 52 buy-ins, and I played the worst poker in the history of the game. And this was also at Nolan Hold'em, full ring. This was not at Heads Up PLO, where if you just keep getting all in, at some point in time, you're going to be winning some of these hands and build up some momentum. So who knows exactly what happened? Maybe Lars will release the full hand history. Maybe we can get him on a podcast at some point. We can ask him about what went down. But let me know your thoughts on the situation. What would you do here? Would you'd probably lose all your money, wouldn't you? I feel like a lot of you guys out there, this is the kind of guy, he'd bust you. This guy that lost 65 buy, he'd keep playing. You wouldn't know what to do. You'd start over adjusting. You'd start playing too many hands. And before you know it, your account would be busto. Then this guy would get his account shut down for out-of-line activities, and your money would be gone because maybe you don't know it. And man, it kind of sounds sucky for... Maybe that did happen. Who really knows? So, but yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Be back tomorrow. Phil Ivey investigation video. Make sure you tune in to the channel. Take care, everybody.